Hello, friends. Welcome back to Healthy Aging Tips. If you have been following our work together here on the channel, you know that we talk a lot about daily habits. We talk about how you wake up, how you brush your teeth, how you sit, and how you walk. But there is a very dangerous trap that many people over 60 fall into. It is the trap of micromanagement, leading to overwhelm. You try to take 20 different supplements, do 50 different exercises, and meditate for an hour every single day. And what happens? You burn out. You stop doing everything. Today, I want to shift your perspective. I want to move from the daily grind to the weekly rhythm. Biology loves rhythm. Your body operates on cycles, circadian rhythms, hormonal pulses, and cellular regeneration cycles that take days, not minutes. The medical truth is this: you do not age in a straight line. You age in sudden drops that happen when your body loses its ability to adapt to stress. We call this a loss of homeostatic reserve. But if we can spike your system safely with specific stimuli once a week, we can maintain that reserve. We can fight the two biggest enemies of your longevity: sarcopenia, muscle loss, and systemic inflammation. Today, on Healthy Aging Tips, we are going to cover the Weekly 7. These are 7 specific, non-negotiable protocols that you must tick off your checklist every single week. These are not just good ideas. These are biological signals that tell your genes to repair DNA, lubricate your synovial fluid, and ignite neuroplasticity. If you skip these, you aren't just staying the same, you are succumbing to sensory amnesia, allowing your brain to disconnect from your body. But if you do, you build the ultimate asset: independence. So, grab a pen and paper. We are going to build your weekly longevity checklist together. Let's get to work. Habit 1. The high threshold motor unit recruitment, the heavy day. The problem: most seniors, even the active ones, exercise in what I call the gray zone. You go for a walk, you do some light gardening, you might even lift some 2-pound pink dumbbells. While movement is good, this low-intensity activity completely ignores a specific type of muscle tissue that is the first to die as we age. We are losing our type 2 fast-twitch muscle fibers. When you only move slowly and lightly, your brain assumes you no longer need power, so it unplugs those nerves. This is why a 70-year-old struggles to get out of a deep chair or catch themselves when they trip. The physiology. We need to trigger a process called mechanotransduction. This is a cellular process where mechanical force, physical heaviness, is converted into biochemical signals. When you put a significant load on a muscle, the cells sense deformation. They scream to the body, "We are under structural stress." The body responds by rushing amino acids and hormones to that site to reinforce the structure. This is how we fight sarcopenia. You cannot trigger this with light weights. You must momentarily overload the system to convince the body that being strong is a survival necessity. The routine. Action. Once a week, you need a heavy load session. You don't need a gym, but you need intensity. We are going to do the slow motion sit to stand. Find a sturdy chair. Hold a heavy object close to your chest, a large book, a gallon of water, or a weighted medicine ball. It should feel heavy enough that you question if you can do 10 reps. Stand in front of the chair, feet shoulder width apart. Slowly lower yourself down. Take 4 full seconds to descend. 4, 3, 2, 1. Do not plop. Hover 1 inch above the seat. Now, explode up. Drive through your heels, squeeze your glutes. Do only 5 to 8 repetitions. If you can do 20, the weight is too light. We want muscle fatigue. We want the brain to recruit those high threshold fibers. Nutrition and biochemistry. To support this heavy day, we must talk about bioavailability of protein, specifically an amino acid called leucine. Older muscle is anabolically resistant, meaning it ignores protein signals unless they're loud. On your heavy day, ensure you consume 30 grams of high-quality protein, whey, eggs, or pea protein with added leucine within an hour of this session. This floods the blood with amino acids right when mechanotransduction has opened the cellular gates. Mindset, behavioral cue. The cue is hunt the struggle. Do not avoid the heavy sensation. When your legs shake, that is not weakness leaving the body, that is strength entering it. Cinematic visualization. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your thigh muscles are made of thousands of tiny loose threads. As you push that heavy weight, imagine a golden loom weaving those threads together, tightening them into thick, unbreakable steel cables. You are weaving your own armor. Habit 2. The vestibular calibration. The balance reset. The problem. The second item on your weekly checklist fights the #1 cause of injury-related death in seniors: falls. The problem is that we live on flat, predictable surfaces: hardwood floors, concrete sidewalks, paved roads. Your feet and ankles are designed to read complex terrain. When they only feel flat surfaces, the nerves go dormant. This is sensory amnesia in the lower body. Your brain literally forgets where your feet are. The physiology. We need to wake up proprioception. These are the sensors in your joints and fascia that tell your brain where you are in space. We also need to stress the vestibular system in your inner ear. When you balance, you are not just standing still. Your brain is performing thousands of micro-calculations per second, firing signals to the small stabilizer muscles around the ankle. If you don't use this loop, the signal degrades like a bad Wi-Fi connection. The routine. Action. Once a week, we do the sensory deprivation stand. Stand in a corner of a room with your back to the corner but not touching the walls. Place a sturdy chair in front of you for safety. Bring your feet completely together, touching ankle to ankle. Close your eyes. By removing vision, you force the vestibular system and the proprioceptors in your ankles to take over. You will feel a sway. You might feel like you're on a boat. Hold this for 30 seconds. If that is easy, lift one foot slightly off the ground while keeping eyes closed. Hover your hand over the chair. The goal is to feel the ankle twitching. That twitching is the brain remapping the joint. Nutrition and biochemistry. This is linked to vitamin D3. You know it's for bones, but it is crucial for nerve conduction velocity. Low vitamin D is clinically linked to an increased risk of falling because the nerve signals travel slower. Ensure you are getting adequate sun or supplementation to keep those signals fast. Mindset behavioral cue. Trust the wobble. Do not be afraid of the swaying sensation. The sway is your brain calibrating. It is the autofocus on a camera trying to find clarity. Cinematic visualization. Imagine your feet are not just sitting on the floor, but that roots are growing out of your soles, penetrating deep through the floorboards and into the earth. You are a mighty oak tree. The wind blows, the branches sway, but the trunk and roots are immovable. Habit 3. The fascial unwinding. The oiling session. The problem. Do you feel stiff when you wake up, like you are wearing a suit that is 2 sizes too small? That is not your bones. That is your fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue web that wraps every muscle and organ. Inactivity causes the layers of fascia to stick together, developing what Gil Hedley calls fuzz. It dries out. This restricts movement and compresses nerves. The physiology. We need to restore the slide and glide of your tissues. We do this by stimulating the production of synovial fluid and hydrating the extracellular matrix. Think of a dry sponge. If you pull it, it tears. If you wet it, it stretches. We need to rehydrate your tissues through specific long-hold movements that squeeze the dirty water out of the tissue and allow fresh, nutrient-rich fluid to soak back in. This is the sponge effect. The routine, action. This is your weekly thoracic towel opener. Roll up a bath towel into a tight cylinder. Lie on the floor on your back. Place the towel perpendicular to your spine, right across the shoulder blades, the thoracic spine. Extend your arms out to the side like a T or overhead like a Y. Relax. This is not active stretching. This is passive melting. Gravity is doing the work. Stay here for 3 to 5 minutes. You are reversing the forward head posture of modern life. You are opening the rib cage, allowing the fascia of the chest to hydrate and expand. Nutrition and biochemistry. The key word here is collagen and hydration, but not just drinking water. You need minerals to hold the water in the cells, magnesium and potassium. And collagen peptides provide the raw material for the fascial net. Consuming a bone broth or a collagen supplement on your fascia day gives the body the bricks to repair the web. Mindset/behavioral cue. Melt, don't push. In this routine, effort is the enemy. Surrender to gravity. Let the floor hold you. Cinematic visualization. Imagine warm oil pouring into your spine. Visualize the vertebrae gently separating, creating space. Imagine the dry, stiff fuzz between your muscles turning into a smooth, frictionless liquid. You are becoming fluid. Habit 4. The neural novelty injection. Brain health. The problem. We are creatures of habit. We drive the same route, eat the same breakfast, and talk to the same people. This efficiency is great for the day-to-day, but it is deadly for cognitive reserve. The brain is efficient. If you don't challenge it, it prunes the connections it doesn't use. Routine is the enemy of neuroplasticity. The physiology. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to rewire itself. To trigger this, we need novelty and complexity. We need to release a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is fertilizer for your brain cells. You do not get BDNF by doing crossword puzzles if you are already good at crossword puzzles. You get it by being confused, by failing, and by trying to coordinate complex movements. The routine. Action. This is the cross-crawl pattern. Stand up, march in place. Lift your right knee and tap it with your left hand. Lift your left knee and tap it with your right hand. Do this rhythmically. Now complicate it. Do it backward. Touch your right heel behind you with your left hand. Now close your eyes and try it again. The moment it becomes easy, it stops working. Change the pattern. Confuse yourself. The confusion is the medicine. Nutrition and biochemistry. Omega-3 fatty acids, DHA and EPA. 60% of your brain is fat. DHA is the structural component of the neuronal membrane. It helps the signal jump across the synapse. On this day, eat fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, or take a high-quality algae oil. You are insulating the wires of your computer. Mindset/behavioral cue. Confusion is growth. When you feel frustrated because you can't get the coordination right, smile. That frustration is the feeling of your brain building new roads. Cinematic visualization. Imagine a dark city at night, your brain. As you do these cross-body movements, imagine lights flickering on in abandoned neighborhoods of the city. Entire grids lighting up, connecting north to south, east to west. You are illuminating your mind. Habit 5. The cortisol flush. Stress reset. The problem. We live in a state of chronic, low-grade stress. The news, health worries, family issues. This keeps cortisol levels elevated. High cortisol is catabolic. It breaks down muscle tissue and eats away at the hippocampus, the memory center. It also drives systemic inflammation, which is the root of almost every age-related disease. We never truly turn the switch off. The physiology. We need to manually engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. The most direct access to this system is through the vagus nerve. This nerve travels from the brainstem, down the neck, through the heart, and into the gut. We can stimulate it through diaphragmatic mechanics. The routine. Action. This is the 4-7-8 breath reset. Do this once a week for 10 minutes continuously, or daily if you can, but it's on the weekly checklist. Sit or lie down comfortably. Exhale completely through your mouth, making a whoosh sound. Close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose to a mental count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Exhale completely through your mouth, making a whoosh sound to a count of 8. The long exhale is the key. It signals the heart to slow down. It tells the amygdala, the fear center, that you are safe. Nutrition and biochemistry. Magnesium. This is the relaxation mineral. It blocks the NMDA receptors in the brain, preventing overexcitation. It relaxes the smooth muscles of the blood vessels. Taking magnesium glycinate or threonate in the evening of your cortisol flush day supports this parasympathetic shift. Mindset/behavioral cue. Rest is a discipline. Do not treat rest as a reward for working hard. Treat it as a biological maintenance protocol, just like brushing your teeth. Cinematic visualization. Imagine a glass of muddy water. This is your mind when stressed. As you breathe, imagine the glass sitting perfectly still. Watch the mud slowly settle to the bottom, leaving the water at the top perfectly clear and transparent. Clarity returns. Habit 6. The metabolic fast, or gut rest. The problem. As we age, our digestion slows down. Stomach acid decreases, but we tend to graze. We eat constantly from morning until night. This means the body is always in absorptive mode and never in repair mode. This constant influx of food can lead to insulin resistance and prevents a critical cleanup process. The physiology. We want to trigger autophagy. Auto means self, phagy means eating. Autophagy is the body's recycling program. It's where your cells hunt down damaged proteins, old organelles, and metabolic junk and eat them to create new energy. This only happens when insulin is low and no food is coming in. The routine, or action. The 12-hour reset. This is gentle. Once a week, commit to a 12 to 14-hour window of no calories. Finish dinner by 7 p.m. Do not consume anything but water, black coffee, or herbal tea until 9 a.m. the next morning. This gives your digestive system a vacation. It allows the migratory motor complex to sweep the small intestine clean of bacteria. Nutrition and biochemistry. During the eating window following this fast, focus on fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir. Your microbiome diversity decreases with age. Repopulating the gut after a short rest is the best way to reduce systemic inflammation. Mindset or behavioral cue. Hunger is not an emergency. When you feel a pang of hunger during that 12-hour window, realize it is just a hormonal wave, ghrelin. It will pass. It is the feeling of your body cleaning house. Cinematic visualization. Visualize a team of tiny janitors inside your cells. When you stop eating, they come out with brooms and bags. They sweep up the debris, the broken proteins, the trash. They scrub the walls of your arteries. When you wake up, your inner house is spotless. Habit 7. The social synapse. Connection. The problem. Loneliness is biologically toxic. The Surgeon General has stated that loneliness carries a mortality risk equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. As we age, our social circles naturally shrink. We retire, friends move away, mobility issues keep us home. This isolation spikes cortisol and accelerates cognitive decline. The physiology. We need oxytocin and serotonin. Humans are pack animals. When we interact with others, specifically hearing voices and seeing faces, our nervous system co-regulates. We feel safer. This lowers the inflammatory load on the body. Social interaction also demands high-level cognitive processing, listening, interpreting facial cues, formulating responses. It is the workout for the brain. The routine. Action. The weekly connection call. Schedule one interaction per week that is not text-based. It must be a phone call, a video chat, or a coffee date. The rule: you must ask 3 questions about the other person's life before you talk about your aches and pains. Active listening engages the auditory cortex and the emotional centers of the brain. Nutrition and biochemistry. Believe it or not, sharing a meal enhances this. Digestion is parasympathetic. Eating with others synchronizes your biological rhythms. There isn't a specific nutrient here, but the biochemistry of oxytocin released during a shared laugh is the most potent anti-aging drug we have. Mindset or behavioral cue. Be interested, not interesting. Take the pressure off yourself to perform. Just witness another person. Cinematic visualization. Imagine an invisible web of light connecting your heart to the hearts of others. Every conversation strengthens this thread. You are not an isolated island. You are part of a vast, glowing continent of humanity. So there you have it, the weekly 7. The heavy lift for your muscles, the balance stand for your nerves, the fascial stretch for your mobility, the brain game for your neuroplasticity, the breath work for your stress, the 12-hour fast for your cells, the connection for your soul. I know this might sound like a lot, but remember, you have 7 days in a week. You can stack these. You can do your balance stand while you wait for your coffee. You can do your breath work while you watch TV. The emotional victory here is profound. When you tick these boxes, you stop being a victim of the aging process. You become an active participant in your own longevity. You move from hoping you don't get frail to training to stay strong. You are stronger than your age. Your body is capable of repair until your very last breath, if you give it the right inputs. If you found this checklist helpful, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button to join the Healthy Aging Tips community. We are building a tribe of people who refuse to fade away, and I want you with us. In the next video, we are going to dive deep into the #1 dietary mistake that is destroying your joints. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep moving, keep connecting, and keep ripening. I'll see you next week on Healthy Aging Tips.